We've made it into April, and it is time for our Allied Cooperative program. And I have John Schneider. He's the Livestock Production Specialist working out of that Seymour office. It is springtime, and we don't always think about how we should be feeding those show animals just yet. But I think now is a good time to get it started.
Yeah, right now is a pretty good time to start taking a serious look at some of these show animals. A lot of families have gone and picked up their new projects when we're talking the show pigs, the show lambs, the show goats. Those have just kind of been arriving on farm in the last month or so here. And our show cattle projects, those have been on feed since last fall. But now we've had our early weigh-ins, and now it's time to kind of get serious and start looking at what we need to do to improve these animals and change them to how we need them to look on show day.
And that brings in the show feed ideas. And back when I was a kid, we didn't have the show feed opportunities out there. What is the biggest reason to investigate the show feeds and feed it to our animals that are going to go be out in that show ring?
It takes your animal to another level when it comes to the visual side of things. So a livestock show is mainly visual. So we want to have them looking their best. And those commercial feeds are good. They get them going. They grow. That's what they want to do. The show feeds kind of add that extra pop, that extra bloom to make them stand apart from the rest. So that's where these show feeds really set themselves apart.
And what kind of show feeds are offered by Allied Cooperative?
We carry the full lineup of the Purina Honor Show Chow lineups. We've got their hog lineup. We've got their cattle lineup. We do some mill mixes as well. We've got their sheep products, their goat products. We've got access to all the Honor Show Chow products, the supplements. There's a broad range of things we can do for you.
Not every animal eats the same, looks the same, needs the same. Is there anybody from Allied Cooperative that's available to come out and visit and give a little advice?
Yes. Between myself and some of our other Allied associates, we can come out and provide some guidance and take a look at your animals and point you in the right direction. Everybody's got different goals in mind, and we can provide the right program to meet your goals.
And fairs don't happen all at the same time around the state. Are there different options within the feed choices, whether you have an early fair or a late fair, and getting those animals to that optimum weight and to grade choice?
Yeah, we can definitely provide some options to push your animals along. If you've got an earlier fair and say we get caught and our animals a little bit lighter than what we were anticipating, we can definitely provide some options to get them there quicker. If you have an animal that's ahead of schedule, we can definitely do some things to keep them in place and keep them looking their best on show day. We can hold them and still have them looking good, and they won't get stale and kind of overdone for you, so the judge still likes what he's looking at that day, or she is looking at that day.
What about the supplements? Are they available, and what would they do?
We've got the full lineup of the high-octane supplements provided by Purina. There's the fitter products, which will help burn some fat calories off the animals and provide a little more muscle shape. There's our fill products, the ultra full, the depth charge. Those really work well at adding some rib shape and adding some depth of flank. There's a fat product, heavyweight, and power fuel. Those will help those animals that need to flesh up a little bit more, gain a little faster. Those will fit in that scenario really well. And then one of my favorites that I use every year on my daughter's animals is the Champion Drive. That really adds some nice top shape across the loin, and it's fat cover neutral. So if we don't need to change how much fat we need, that Champion Drive really hits the target with adding muscle shape but not adding fat cover or burning fat cover either.
And it's really never too early to start on these show feeds, is it?
No, actually the sooner the better. If we need to move the needle, if we need to gain faster or gain slower, sooner is better than waiting, because it's pretty disheartening, and I feel bad on my shoes if somebody comes to me with 2 weeks before the fair and they've got some unrealistic expectations of where they need to get their animal to because it's too late. We can do a lot, but we can't work miracles on these animals. If we need 100 pounds and there's only 2 weeks to go, it's pretty hard to get there. So That takes us to kind of the management side of things. Weigh your animals on a regular basis. Worst case scenario, I'd like to see them weighed monthly. Best case scenario, I would say weigh them weekly. That helps you kind of manage them as we go along here to know if we need to do something sooner than later, because it's always easier to do this with more time than less time.
Always some good advice at making those show animals look their best out at our fairs and the show rings from Allied Cooperative. And that was John Schneider. He's the Livestock Production Specialist. And I'm Joe Welke.